It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
Yeah, that's an abrupt edit there. That's what Rick will butcher an audio edit. Rick Thatcher, Strong Island TV, possibly WRCN 103.9, LI News Radio. We're not sure. We could be on so many different outlets, but this is the second show of LifeVac Live. And if you were with us last week, oh my goodness gracious, you were in for a treat. You spoke with, we spoke with CEO and inventor Arthur Lee of this wonderful device, LifeVac. The anti-airway clearance device, we're calling it, that has saved over 2,300 lives.
Amazing.
The man to my right, Steve Oliveri, is going to fit in because we're going to continue with the story of LifeVac, the evolution of LifeVac, and Rebecca, come on in here, Rebecca. We're trying to get up to speed with all this social media because we're doing a TV show, but it's really, Steve, a streaming situation where we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. A lot of the things that our kids would need to tell us about when we get home. So we're definitely a work in progress, not like LifeVac, so
right.
well on its way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, last week, spoke with Arthur Lee. We met Jackie Lee, the inspiration. When Arthur was faced with hearing about a choking tragedy, and we're going to talk more about that, Steve. Right. It was just so great. And then we met the singers. And it was a great first show. We talked to a save of the week, and that's what we're going to do every week is have a save of the week. And because we're starting at the beginning, we're trying to go for saves. 2,300 lives. Steve.
Amazing,
isn't it amazing?
It's amazing. The whole of saves is amazing.
Yes. So the backdrop, if you're confused, we're actually in Strong Island Studios, but by the magic of green screen technology, we feel like we're sitting back home in the Hall of Saves. And I've seen that, and you've seen it, certainly, fill up over the past couple of years.
No matter how rough of a day we have, no matter what's going on, that might not be going the way we want it scheduled.
Right.
You walk into the Hall of Saves, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Yeah. You can't just not feel happy being in that room.
It's
many happy spirits are there.
Yeah, and we've had families and lights that have not gone out. We talk about One More Light. Yeah. What's interesting is Arthur says that, and we've had dignitaries, politicians, former police officers. One police officer in particular that you met today, Detective Markey, went and said, this reminds me in a certain way of the 9/11 memorial. But he said the big difference is all of these pictures and all of these families are still burning and not
all
a
save
sad
lives.
story.
All save lives. Their families have saved lives.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. Steve, I want to go back to Arthur's book, because his book, which has just come out, Sorry, Can't Is a Lie, go to lifevac.net and order a copy. It's a great read. But you're in there in a strong way in his description of a wingman. When did you meet Arthur and become like wingmen for each other?
I met Arthur probably about 30 years ago. We're shipping logistics people.
Shipping and logistics.
In the past life. And we both were pretty much, I was out of college, my first job. Arthur was pretty much the same age. And we met each other in that business at that point. And we became friends and co-workers. And our relationship just built from that. We had such great chemistry working together. Arthur was a phenomenal salesman in the business. Arthur was the kind of guy, and he is today, if you tell him it can't be done,
don't tell him it can't be done. Be careful.
And then Arthur will just do it,
Right.
I used to run a department. Artie was in my department, was one of my sales guys. And we had a couple accounts, and some of the higher-ups said, don't sell it anymore. And I told Artie not to sell it anymore. And then all of a sudden, what happens, Artie's not going to stop selling it. And he sold, and our revenues picked up tremendously because of Artie's persistence, and he was right.
Did someone tell him that he can't do it?
They actually told me to tell him that, and then Artie would never give up. And he said, I'm going to crack this account, And he did. And
Yeah.
our P&Ls went up, and it was just tremendous. So it was such a great story in
Yeah.
the logistics end of business.
Right.
You know.
And he often talks about that, like the passion now that drives him, and the knocking on doors, and what he instills in the rest of the sales and marketing team, is that he's not. He harkens back to logistics. I'm not selling shipping
Right.
anymore. This is saving
Right,
lives.
right.
So slight difference, but the approach is the same. He's going to
Yeah.
walk, break through walls
Right.
and do whatever it takes.
Audie sells from the heart.
Right.
So I've worked with him so many times and gone on some joint phone calls together. I have a big international background.
Right.
So Audie had a big domestic background. So we would go into a customer, and then I knew the international, Audie knew the domestic. But if we were an account and he was looking at the account and didn't think that we had any value for the account, he'd tell him the truth. He's like, can't
I'm
help
not for you.
Can't
Yeah.
help you. But, if I find something I can help you, I'll let you know.
That's what all the great salespeople. It's not about getting one over or fitting your whatever your product is or service into, like, it's fitting needs and
Right.
filling needs,
Right.
and finding where there's a match, and when there isn't a match,
Right.
admit it and move on.
Right, that's
Right.
exactly what he did. But he always wanted to help the customer. So whatever their problem was, tell me what your problem is.
Right.
And let me see if I can come up with a solution for you.
Right.
And he was very successful at that.
Yeah, no question. And at 48, or approximately 48, he was ready. He had enough of the shipping industry, and he sold the company that he built. Obviously, still really close friends with you.
Right.
But around that time, so people that are familiar with the origins of LifeVac, where the inspiration came from, pick up where Artie is doing the right thing by visiting you as you take care of your mom in the hospital.
Right. So the story of the story is I was with my mom in the hospital at one point, probably 6 months before the second story, where I told Audie the story. And I was with my mom, and it's probably, top 5 worst things in my life. You never want to witness what I saw. And I wish that on nobody. I don't want that to ever happen on anybody. And what happened was I was in the emergency room with my mom, and right next to us, the partitions were thin. And as I'm standing there, I see a boy come in with on a gurney, and he comes to the right next to me and my mom. So we could really see what was happening, me and my mom at the time.
Right.
And there was doctors, and there was nurses, and they had special equipment and everything. We're watching and watching and watching. And, you're in the emergency room, and all the bells and whistles, right?
They have everything they need.
Is a tick, tick, tick. Everything's going off. And all of a sudden, you just hear, and you could see it. I could see it, like what was going on. You hear the mother just screaming. I mean, screaming like you'd never want to hear, you know. And it was so loud that everybody in the emergency room stopped what they were doing. And then eventually you just heard the mother screaming, bells and whistles on the machines going off. And then you watched the doctors, and I watched the nurses, and they were all leaving hysterically crying. It was just horrible. It was just terrible, terrible thing. And then what happened was they actually needed my mother's area, so they moved us out to the right. And me and my mom saw the mother, the father grieving over the child that just passed away. And it was just horrible. It was just, something I never, ever want to experience and don't want anyone else to experience.
Right.
So a couple of months later, my mom's back in the hospital. Audie's my good friend. He knows my mom's in ICU. He calls me up. He says, hey, I'm outside, the ICU area. Why don't you come out and we'll get something to eat? So I was like, all right, I need a break, right? So I went downstairs with Audie in the hospital, and we just started talking about food and choking. And I told him that story.
Wow.
I told him the story, and I told him how emotional it was and how upsetting it was. And he looked at me, and I didn't really get it what he was looking at me, but I kept on telling him what was going on. So the next day, literally the next day, he says...
Back up. Did you see a light bulb go off, or did you see? And
you
knew Artie.
I know Artie so long, like something flipped in there.
Yes.
And,
yes.
In a good way.
Yes.
Something flipped in a good way. And the next day, let's just say like 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm working in logistics, and I get a text message from Audie, and it's a picture. Back in those days, there was a company that invented a gun-like suction device that pulled wax out of the ear.
Wow.
And he put a mask on it. And I call him, no words to the text, right?
Right.
And I call him, I go, what is this?
Congratulations, what's this?
What are you showing me?
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't get that story out of my head. And I was up all night, and I was researching, and I really don't see anything that helps people, clear their airways.
Right. And is that when you both found out that standard protocols, what we say, don't always work? Like I say, in a hospital setting, this story happened.
Right.
So back blows, abdominal thrusts, whatever you want to call them,
Right.
whatever maneuver
Right.
you want to call it, they don't always work.
Right.
You think it's foolproof.
Right.
Because here, if you're alone, lodge yourself onto a counter.
Yeah.
You hear about injury, but it doesn't always work. And
Right.
I remember, asking Artie that,
Right.
and he must have asked, and you must have asked the same thing.
Well, I was just like, there's nothing like that out there. And he's like, no, I'm telling you right now, there's nothing. There's
Wow.
nothing out there that can help, and if standard protocol doesn't work, what happens then?
Yeah.
Right? So he says to me, I'm going to invent this product that's going to stop that from happening. And, like I mentioned in the past, knowing Artie so well, he's a doer.
Right.
He just doesn't talk. Artie makes things happen. And he said to me, I'm going to do something. And sure enough, he invented the product, and
2012,
the product came out. And
slightly different from the original, more intrusive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But slightly
Nothing
different.
wears out.
Through
right?
testing, went through all kinds of tests on the side and stuff
We
like
talked
that.
about this last week with Mike Singer about his ability to, or willingness to get things done.
Right.
We need to test it on cadavers.
Right.
We'll get you a cadaver.
Right.
We'll get you into a lab
Yeah.
and get all that done.
Right.
So, at what point did Jackie, like the 7-year-old, tie in?
I think that tied in right off the bat. He started thinking about, I got a young child. This poor boy was 7 years old that passed away. And I think right off the bat, he said, I'm not going to let that happen to my daughter.
Right.
And he took a mission upon himself to create the device. And, when in the beginning, when Artie told me that, I'm like, great. I'm still in logistics. I'm like, okay, you've saved lives and invent that device. And he comes back in my office probably like 2 years later after that initial story with
this thing.
with a LifeVac, and I got it on my desk and I'm using it. I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Was it back at that stage you could say, will it work? And he would say, I think so.
Oh no, it was. It
You
was
could
working.
tell.
Yeah, it was.
We could tell there's
it
suction
was
there.
definitely. And I never forget when I held it for the first time. And actually, my mom's passed away since, but she knows Artie really well.
Yeah.
And I showed it to her, and she looked at me. She's like, "That's gonna do something.
Wow.
That's definitely gonna change the world. Like Artie says, that's gonna do things."
That's
So
fantastic.
it was just an amazing, from the initial story, which of course Artie's the inventor, founder, and CEO, but how
To
he
inspire.
inspired it to
Right.
where it is today. And then you look at all the saved people behind there from a conversation I had with Artie years ago.
Yep.
It's just truly amazing.
Yeah, and what's great too is we're going to speak to a like what we call a save of the week, a very early save in the genesis of going from the first save, which was in England
Right.
in a retirement home by a nurse named Jackie. We talked about that last
Right.
week, but we're also going to speak to Donna Yeisley, who is kind of the keeper of the saves,
Right.
of the information,
Right.
and what a great gift. There's so many great assets and great people and great spirits
Right.
that surround
Right.
that work out at LifeVac in Wisconsin. That's the Hall of Saves, which is definitely hallowed ground. It's just like a very inspiring place. But right outside of those walls are a group of people incredibly dedicated to the mission, which is to eliminate choking deaths in all different capacities. So,
Right.
so let's go back to you're still in logistics, and your friend Artie, with your help and guidance, has, kind of you got this off the ground and started going. At what point did he say, I need your help, Steve?
He always wanted me to join in.
Really?
Always wanted me to join in, but we were in such infantile stages.
Right.
It's a progression to bring other people on and stuff like that. And then basically, we've saved the first life, like you're talking about. We had a very good meeting with our Canadian partners. I also developed the international product for LifeVac. And I was just sitting there, like, listening to this meeting with the Canadian company we met, and Artie talking, save lives. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to move boxes around for the rest of my life. I want to help people. I want to
totally identify
make
with that.
families be happy. And what I love about LifeVac is, yes, we save the victim, but we save all the people behind that victim.
Right.
The mothers, the fathers, the aunts, the teachers that love the child. It's just such an inspiring thing. And that when I walk in that hall of saves, those are the victims. But could you imagine how many other people there that we've saved?
Right. Right.
And I never want to see ever again, because
what you saw in the hospital.
When I saw that in my hospital, that situation, it affected my life. Even though I was out of it, for 6 months, told all the story, you never forget that.
No.
And I never want to see two parents grieve like that ever again. Never.
When it's so avoidable.
Right.
It's one thing. There are other accidental tragedies that we take certain steps, but this in particular, in that setting, with EMTs, with first responders on the scene, and now we've seen nanny cams and police body cams, ring cams of ordinary people, no trained specialists.
No.
It's not very difficult,
No.
but although there is training videos, so I totally identify with what you're talking about, just saying I want to be part of that.
Right.
Because I knew Artie from a very young age, kind of knew from a distance what was going on.
Right.
But in healthcare, and in a similar way, what a difference of an impact that this simple device can make on, like you said, not only those 2,300 pictures, but the everything surrounding them,
the families behind,
the whole atmosphere.
And we're worldwide now.
Yeah, and you're a big part of that.
Yes, I am.
So when I get an email from God knows where, I should say God knows where, but all over. I mean, from just about, and it's almost kidding. Like, how are we doing in Timbuktu, or what's going on? Because we'll get email inquiries because of the wonderful invention of the internet.
Right.
From wherever, any part of the globe, and let's see. So we've recently gotten saves from South Africa.
Right.
I didn't know we were.
Yep.
How it got there, well, due to you.
We got it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, choking has no prejudices.
It knows no politics. Right.
It's a worldwide situation, and it's when you deal with the different countries and they see the videos and they see the lives that we save, or officers that we work with. Everyone has the same philosophy. How do we stop this?
Right.
And now we have this product that can stop it. And let's get it out there.
Right.
It's our mission to save lives. Let's do it.
And that's, like I say, spreading the word. And we're so blessed through Donna Yaisley to talk to folks across the country, like as Stephanie Della Torre is going to join us in a few minutes.
Right.
Willing to share and help raise awareness through their own joy in the save and a saved life, but to let others know and give others pause to say, wait a minute, you know what, that should be. And we were just talking about a little venture. I go out to Shop HQ, and that's a great opportunity. Just whether it's a news appearance, and we should mention why Artie Lee is not here.
Oh, okay.
Why Artie and Laura are not in attendance tonight for tonight's show is they found out on the news that a child was saved in Alamonte, California, 8-year-old Ethan Aguayo, and a police officer responding. And when I heard that story, it's harrowing. The little boy, 8-year-old boy, on the news saying, I remember choking on hard candy. I remember going to the ambulance. No, I remember going to the house because I was going to run for help.
Right.
And then I woke up in the ambulance.
Yep.
And crazy. But Arthur and Laura are out there meeting with the police officer and the family, and it's again helping spread the word.
Great moment.
No question.
Great moment.
No question. Bob, you let me know if we have Stephanie back on. There she is.
Hey.
Oh, from California.
Yes, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, California, the city of angels.
Yes.
So great to see you and hear you. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, and I think we have pictures of your daughter, which...
Yeah, Nina's sick right now. I wanted her to join me, but she's a little sick right now.
Oh. Well, you know what? A little cold?
Yeah. The weather here is a little funky.
Yeah.
But I sent some pictures in.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Can you tell us? I was reading a little bit about the story, but everyone would much rather hear it from you. TikTok, huh? That's how you heard about LifeVac?
Yeah. So, okay, so we're gonna back up.
Sure.
Rise Agency me a LifeVac. They said, "Hey, we have this product. We want you to promote it." And it looks scary at first. I know when people look at it, they're like, "That's a little scary." And as a mom, all I heard was, "It's gonna save a life." So I said, "Yeah, no problem. If I can use it, let me just, I don't know, just have it with me, right?"
Right.
So I did research on it, and this was 2 months prior to the incident. So then I saw on TikTok that woman who used it on her son, and I thought, oh, this is a big thing. So I was showing my husband, I pray we never have to use it. Weeks later, I had to use it.
Crazy. 7.5-month-old Nina.
Yes, Nina. She was
Wow.
on the bed. My son was rolling balls, the straw, the paper, not the paper straw, but the paper of the straw.
Right.
He was rolling into balls, thinking, I'm going to throw it at the wall. But I guess he didn't pick one up on the bed. And I was giving her a bath, and I went to go lay her down to get her changed. And I just turned my back for 1 second, and all of a sudden I heard, and I looked at her, and I was like, she's choking.
Oh my
And she
God.
kept trying to get it out. And I did the back blow, but I was thinking, it's a horrifying feeling to see her like that. Then she started to turn blue. I live with my mom and my brother at the time. My mom is a registered nurse. So I'm running through the halls doing back blows. So I give her to my mom, a registered nurse, and she's doing them. And she's like, "I can't get it out, Stephanie. I can't get it out. I can't stick my finger in her mouth because if I do, it's going to go more back." And then, we swabbed right here, but we couldn't find it. My brother, who was a paramedic, did the back blow. Well, we weren't thinking, and my mom said, "You have the LifeVac." So I ran. Thank gosh, I put it in a space where it's easily accessible. And I put the mask on for the baby, and it took 2 pumps, and the ball came out.
Paper
Paper ball.
A pre-spitball.
Yeah.
Right? And it's great to make mention that, and I've just heard this comparison, that a 7.5-month-old, their windpipe is about the size of the straw itself.
Yeah.
So like a little paper, the paper that wrapping can create the blockage. Unbelievable. Wow.
And it was scary to use at first, but I don't know what I would have done without it. She would not have been here.
Wow. And how old is Nina now?
She is 3.5.
Wow. And we got pictures, Bobby. I know I sent you pictures, and we're just adults struggling with this technology, but it would be worth it to share. I know she's not feeling well. Bobby, oh, there she is. And you know what, Stephanie? I don't know that you can see it, but what a beautiful young lady.
Beautiful.
Thank you. She's my little LifeVac helper.
Oh.
Tell her
Oh,
anywhere.
there's another great Christmassy picture. Oh, she's beautiful.
Very cute.
Thank you.
Very
Oh,
cute.
now does she have? Did I see another picture with siblings, or no? You're one.
She has a brother. My son is 8 years old, and he's, the 8-year-old in Almani. Almani is near me, actually. It's a 5-minute drive. And when I saw the video, all I could think about is my son and candies. And people messaged me on Instagram saying, LifeVac. And I said, I have one. I have one in my car. I have one in my parents' house. I give them away as gifts. Because it doesn't matter. Choking affects all ages.
Yes.
Yes.
We say more common in the very young, and the older folks, but enough stories that all ages, all materials. I mean, we talk about over 350 different objects being dislodged. So great, so great.
No.
Wow.
I'm so appreciative of you guys.
Now, I would imagine you don't get often to see the Hall of Saves. You weren't for the 1,000 saves. You don't get to New York much.
I do go to New York maybe once every 2 years. So if I'm there, I told Donna I'm gonna go visit you guys.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, so
You have to.
that'd be great.
Did you
I
know
would
any?
love to.
Yeah, when you first got it and you said you saw it on TikTok and you were struck, did you know anything about the backstory of how Arthur came up with the idea?
No, I didn't. In fact, the PR that was given to me didn't say anything about the backstory. So hearing the backstory makes it even more like, not that it wasn't meaningful, but
Yeah.
I now understand why he felt the way. It's a horrible feeling to go through life seeing that. So I am just so it's sad he saw it and it happened, but in order to have the life back here, it needed to happen as a blessing. So that little boy saved a whole bunch of lives,
Right.
and it wasn't in vain.
No.
Yeah, and
He-
other folks who have learned of LifeVac and before they learned of LifeVac had suffered their own tragedies, and Maverick's Legacy and Colson's Crew, families that they make it their mission now to not have it happen to someone else, or to try it at all costs to avoid it, because 5,000 people still die every year accidentally, fourth leading cause, and it's avoidable at this point with the awareness that you're helping raise. And your
I
story.
will never stop.
Yeah, I didn't. Yep, keep going. That's
Thank
what
you.
Arthur says. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's really paying it forward is an understatement. But so you're close to Los Angeles is close to Almonte. We were just talking about Arthur and the team being out, so you heard that on the news too.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I'm technically 5 minutes away from Almani. I know where it happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it hit really back to home. A lot of people called me and was like, "Can you see what's going on?" I'm like, "He's alive, he's fine." You know,
We found out
I just-
about it from the news. Arthur sent me a clip from Trace Gallagher's report, and that's when I found
Oh.
out Trace was out out there. I'm sure he was on other news outlets, but that's how we found out about it. So
No, that's how I found out about it too. I sent it to Donna right away. I was like, "Did you guys see this?" And it's like so beautiful that my followers on Instagram know anything to do with LifeVac. They associate me with, and I'm so proud to be associated with you guys. And
Yeah.
you guys take me in like family, because
Oh.
this is a mission I will never stop doing. I do it out of my heart, and I just want awareness.
Yeah. Well, please, help us out with you sound like you're further along with the Instagram and the social media than we are, because we're just kind of keep our head above and figure it out. Like and share, right?
Yep, I tell Donna I'm your unofficial ambassador. So
Aw. I think it's more official than you know. So
Aw.
we appreciate it. We appreciate it so
thank
much. And did you
you.
say
Thank you for.
so? I want to back up a second. I don't know what you said. Arocha. Oh, I said Stephanie Arocha. Did you get married recently?
I got married in 2018.
So
So it was before. It's just that my email says my maiden name, and I never changed it.
right.
So
Well, still congratulations
yeah.
anyway.
Yes,
I
congratulations.
think
Thank you.
yeah, we didn't get you anything, but we will send
We're
something. along.
going on 5 years. It's okay.
No.
Together 9.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
But
Well, yeah. So thanks so much. I hope you'll join us again, because it's such a
I will.
great opportunity to speak to you.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. I will always come back and hope to visit you guys soon. So you guys will be like, "Get out of here, Steph," and I'm like, "Never gonna leave."
We've got space. We'll always have room for you, as long as you bring
Aw,
Nina.
thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for spreading the awareness. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
thanks. We'll see you along the way.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
How
What a
great is
great
that?
story, huh?
Yeah.
So happy.
Yep. And,
Right?
and she's
Beautiful
gonna.
child.
Yeah. We see the pictures, and
Yeah.
it's so great. And that's the type of thing that, again, you mentioned before about frustrations in this business, and there's legal frustrations and knockoffs and
Oh, yeah.
FDA and different trials and tribulations, and people that say no out there, but that makes it
That's
all
what it's all about.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
And that's why
Why we all do what we do.
well, leap
Yeah.
of faith. Yeah, I'm so blessed to have been asked to join this great party and great mission back in January.
Right.
So just tremendous.
Right.
Just tremendous. And one other thing, we mentioned Donna Yaisley. I don't know if she's on yet. How great is Donna?
Donna is just unbelievable,
Yeah.
completely unbelievable. She could probably
What an empath, right?
Oh my God! Incredible impact,
Yeah.
and so dedicated and so caring, and when she talks to the families and stuff like that, and documents everything for research for us, she's just incredible. I mean, she could go into that hall of saves and name all those people,
I know.
and
I
she
know.
knows them all. She
And
gets, and she
sh-
gets the chance to talk to everybody.
And she
right?
definitely is the resource when someone wants to know a question, or what schools are we in Connecticut, or who is this, and there is, and she's incredibly HIPAA compliant. I mean, she will protect everyone's privacy
Yeah.
and like have that as part of the initial conversation.
Right.
And some people were totally fine, want to be a little bit less sharing, or they want to be a little bit more private with their information, but no greater. And what we'd love to institute tonight and move forward is each week that we do our show, we'd love to have Donna call in, because as LifeVac team members, every night, Steve, you know this, there's an email that comes at the
She
end of
puts
the
it
day.
out every night.
And it's the Save Life reports
Yep.
and the ticker and the toll. Now, I harken back, and you were with the team in 2016, or shortly thereafter, when 4 saves
Right.
the entire year
Right.
of 2016. And I hope, Bobby, I know Donna's on the line. I hope you have a couple of pictures of Donna. So, Donna Yeisley, are you with us?
I'm here.
Oh,
Thank you.
bless you, Donna.
You don't really have to. You really don't have to show the pictures.
No, yes.
Please, Rick.
Okay, we'll see if there they are.
Hey!
So that's Arthur,
Actually,
Steve,
you know
and
what?
Donna.
Steve is in the picture. Oh, okay.
Yes. Can you see it?
Right back live in front
And
of
look
my
at that
face.
from the 1,000 saves party celebration.
We look good there, Don.
Yeah.
The two of us actually look good.
People are going to be commenting on the if they're watching on live, they're going to say, "What is the hesitation? She should be in the studio, and I could stop looking at Rick's face." Yeah. Anyway, Donna,
It's a
tremendous
beautiful
job
Save.
with Stephanie. It's just incredible. And last week we had the Hayneses, and I'm just so privileged, and I'm just so happy that you were able to let us share that story, or both the stories. So thank you.
Oh, she's amazing. I'm so happy that she was able to get on, and even with her little girl being sick,
Yeah.
poor Nina. These families are just incredible, and I wanted to share with you guys. When you went on the air today, we saved our 5th life. We saved a 3-year-old little girl in Virginia that choked on French fries.
Wow.
So today, that's 5 lives saved.
5. Yeah, I say that a lot. It's kind of like my it's stark. The colors always get me in the stories. But the 2016 for the whole year, first year, and then that's kind of a day now in 2024. And so 5 lives saved today. And again, we were Steve and I were talking, Donna, about the magic of the emails that you send. Just the same passion as probably the first 10, and the same the same celebration. And it's just great. It's a great I don't know, a common joy that the whole team gets to share.
It is. Absolutely. And I just, I knew that I was coming on, which, you kind of had to twist my arm, but I just looked at some numbers. And so right now in 2024,
Right.
we've saved 719 lives so far.
Wow. It's incredible.
It's amazing. And the Hall of Saves, like, we can't keep up with the pictures to do it justice because of the extensions and the partitions that are being built outside. And it's a great problem to have.
8 of them are full, and now we have to figure out where we're going to put some more walls, because we're up to 2,341.
2,341.
I think we probably have another 300 or 400 to put up in that room.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Donna, back up. I know I wasn't going to ask you too many tough questions, but when the saves started being recorded, were you there from number 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I started in 2015 when there were no saves.
And the question was,
When
did
the
you
first
say?
save came in, yes.
Did you ask Arthur? Do you think this thing will work?
Oh no, I never doubted it.
Never doubt it, because he would
No.
he would say, people would ask, and he would say, "I hope so." I think it's going
Yeah.
to work. Right.
I don't believe he ever said that to me. I mean, I've known him since we were in high school, and he always was a tinkerer. He was always inventing something. I do recall one funny story. Well, to me, it was funny. I was walking onto lacrosse field to watch my daughter, and he had called, and he's like, "I think I have my mission statement." And so he blurted it out, and he goes, "Did you get that?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You need to write it down because I'm going to forget it." And literally, I dropped my pocketbook, tried to find a pen to write this down. I'm like, "You got to say it one more time." I'll never forget that. Like, he's telling me that I have to write it down and remember. And thank God we both remembered exactly what he said. And
Wow.
that's his mission statement. Sometimes you have to do the impossible just to prove that nothing is.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. That's so indicative of your continuing interactions with Arthur Lee, right? You get an email or a text and it says, you're the recorder. You're the keeper of all the info.
We called Donna the hub.
The hub?
The hub.
You don't mind that one?
I record all the clinical reports, but then the best part is then I have the pleasure of contacting all the families and the schools and the first responders.
Right. And you also work with, we were mentioning before, the advocates, the folks that, unfortunately, had a tragedy and just still want to honor their loved ones, and work with them, and it gets very emotional, right?
Yes, absolutely. Maverick's Legacy and Abby Giroux and Roseanne Nelson and the Brookmans and Colson's crew. There's too many.
Yeah.
There's too many, unfortunate. But these families have dedicated their lives now to making sure that nobody else has to go through the pain and suffering that they have.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much.
Donna, one thing I'd like to say to you is every night when you send that report out, it's a great way to end the day. The Save Life report is...
Yeah, that is, I'm going to be honest, that's one of the last things I do before I shut my computer off.
Right.
That, and then maybe I'll do the post. But, it's a beautiful way to end the day.
It's a great way to end the day.
There's so many days that I wake up, and that's the first thing I look at is my emails to see if there was a life saved.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yep. Every night I look forward to that.
Right now there's 1,480 children. We've saved 43 individuals in restaurants, 54 students in a school, and 1 teacher, and 51 first responders have utilized LifeVac.
51 first responders. And
51 first responders.
Yeah, and I say this a lot, but how important do you think are these ring cams, police body cams, and them willing to share, the departments and the officers themselves, willing to share that information?
Yeah, that's just incredible. And like you had mentioned earlier, that Arthur and Laura are going to visit the El Monte Police Department. And tomorrow there'll be an award ceremony for that officer plus 2 other officers and the dispatchers, honoring them.
Yeah.
Which is just incredible. And Arthur is going to Georgia in the middle of the month to go and see the Ackworth Police Department. They're also awarding one of their officers with a life-saving award.
For the retirement home save, right?
I'm sorry?
The 90-year-old woman, I think we see the video of that Ackworth PA. And it's so great that the police departments are willing to admit that, now we'll get them. And they may not have. It may not have been on their radar with all of the defund and other stuff going on with police departments. They're under the gun, but we saw it in Austin PD, where an officer, Schroeder's personal LifeVac saved a life, and down in Ackworth, and the police department's so great of them to say, "Hey, we may have, let's not hide from this. Let's get these in all the rest of the cars."
Right.
So.
Right.
And I know you're
I'm seeing that
you're the
more and
first
more often
conversations.
that these officers are using their own personal devices and responding to calls.
Yeah, and we're able to say here in Nassau, we're not there across the country, but here in Nassau County, every patrol car has a LifeVac in their trunk. I don't know if it drives Arthur, and now it drives me crazy. I'm sure it drives Steve and Donna crazy. That Suffolk County, where we have the LifeVac and the Hall of Saves, and do most of our radio work from. Not in every. We got to get there. So we've had conversations, but it's got to be everywhere. Anywhere where food is consumed, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not even just food. The objects that these children choke on. The Ontario police officer that saved that child choking on a toy bolt.
Right.
But and Brittany Weir's son choked on the top to a baby doll's bottle cap, and a button, and leaves, and
plastic bags, and
Stephanie was just talking about a rolled up piece of
and quarters,
wrapper from a straw, and a cap gun bullet, and just crazy things these little ones will put in their mouth.
Right, and
coins.
Yes.
So many children have choked on coins.
Yeah. Well, we hope that this wasn't as uncomfortable as you may have thought, Donna, and we hope that because we would love to do this every week, right? Every time we do the show, I'd love to get the update, because to hear the details of today's lives saved, and as Steve mentioned before, the whole circle around that life is just such a great way to. To kind of sign off and invite everyone to join us next week.
All right, that sounds good. I'm going to give you a little test. Can I give a test?
Sure, a test.
You have a few minutes. So
Sure.
International. Take a guess. How many countries?
How many countries we've had?
We've had saves, or we're available.
Yep. Where we've had saves.
Wow.
10?
I'm going to say 12.
Try 26.
26 different countries.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
26.
Wow.
Albania, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Lithuania, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Scotland, South Africa, Spain, Switzerland, Taiwan, U.S., U.K., and Vietnam. Is that incredible or what?
No, that is fantastic. That is fantastic, and it's a great. I'm glad that I didn't know all those things. Now you would know. Are we doing?
I was really testing Steve.
Yes, because he's the international guy, and I just got here. I keep falling back on. I just got here. Great question. We don't do business but some of these folks brought it into the country from somewhere else. Correct?
Well, we have strategic partners around the world, and then they cover those regions. And then the person, like for example, in LifeVac Europe, they would go to a LifeVac Europe distribution center, and they would buy it from them and ship directly to them.
Wow.
So a lot of the countries, due to protocol and regulations, everything's packed differently, so it meets their FDA standards around the world.
Right.
But people go to those distribution centers and they buy the LifeVacs.
Estonia. Wow.
Yes.
It's fantastic. I remember the South Africa one. And how about the canines? I was hoping that would be a question. Haven't we saved 3 dogs with the LifeVac? Not that it's indicated. I think
goodness, let's say.
And cats.
I don't think it was 3 dogs.
No?
It's 2 dogs and 2 cats, I believe.
Well, hey, for the cat lovers.
See, I knew you were going to ask me a hard question.
No, it was...
It's definitely two cats, and I know it's definitely two dogs,
Right.
but it could be more.
Yeah. It's
I know most recently there was there was a dog named Tank, I remember. Then I know we saved a Cocker Spaniel.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think in this Hall of Saves we actually have a picture of the first cat named Fluffy. And that's all I can recall.
It is really intimidating because we do spend time in there, and you really have to catch up and to learn all the things. It's great to spend time with Donna, with Arthur, with Steve, and go through and hear some of the stories, because they're not just faces or pictures of, just the save victim. There's a whole story behind it, and it's again, I can't say that enough, how impressive a room, and it kind of takes your breath away at times in that whole
Yes,
save.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we do. I think we all need to go in there more often and just sit and reflect.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, Donna, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope you'll agree to come on again. It have to be
For now, I'm just going to say thank you for having me.
Oh, you're awesome.
I'm not going to promise anything, but thank you guys. I appreciate you asking me to come on, and you did make me feel comfortable.
Thanks so much, Donna.
Thanks.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, you too.
Okay, bye, guys.
Peace and love.
Bye.
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
So great. And so humble. But
Yeah.
we talked earlier about the hierarchy of fears in this world. And public speaking is right up there.
Yeah.
And you yourself shared some anxiety
A little
or
bit
hesitation
today, yeah,
about coming
yeah.
on. And you were great.
Yeah.
The singers, great. Arthur was born to do this.
Yes.
And heck, I mean, it's just great. I'm just humbled and honored to be part of this. And we want to thank Strong Island TV, Paradise Studios, LifeVac Live. Wherever you're seeing us, please like and share us, and look for us on Monday nights. We go on around 9:05. Send us your comments. We didn't give Bobby, can you put the phone number up to call in? Yeah. We need to hear more from Bobby, our director. You guys wouldn't mind very much having the voice of God come over and we'll identify it as Bobby. But just for future reference, if you have the phone number up, it would be great. And then we'll be signing off for tonight. I wasn't able to see comments, but I promise we promise any love letters to Steve or myself, or questions for Donna, we'd be sure to address them in the days to come. All right, so we're not going to see the phone number, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Steve, thank you.
we're putting up the phone number, but it's too late to call. But
Just future reference.
We'll put it up next week. The number's 516-945-9099. That is our call-in number.
That's our call.
So
number.
next week, we have to have some people call.
Yeah. Bobby, it's great to hear from you, man.
No, that's the voice of God. You got
Voice
it.
of God. Beautiful. Again, LifeVac Live. Don't miss us next Monday night. Tell all your friends. Wake the kids. Phone the neighbors. And we'll see you along the way. And get yourself a LifeVac. Save a life.